So here is the box pack of the Veo4 A229 Pro triple channel dash cam. So as you can see on front, you have this big front dash camera with a 2.4-inch screen. You have this rear camera and the interior camera. The pictures of all three cameras has been given straight up on the box. You also find the 4K HDR logo and the StarVis 2 logo. And they have specifically said here that it comes with Sony StarVis 2 image sensors for front and the rear dash cam. So that's an amazing thing. So let's take a look at the side. So at first they have said this is a 4K Ultra HD front cam with a Quad HD rear camera and a Full HD interior camera. They have a Sony StarVis 2 image sensors, built-in Wi-Fi of 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. So dual band Wi-Fi is supported. Along with that, it is HDR in all three cameras, that is front, rear and interior. You have voice control and notifications. Now many people find this very useful. You also have a 2.4-inch HD screen. There is a parking mode, which I think is one of the most advanced parking modes I have seen in a dash cam. And lastly, they have specified the feature that this supports GPS. So at the back of the box, they have again provided some specifications. Let's take a look at that. So this is a 3-channel recording, 4K UHD front camera, 2K QHD rear camera and a 1080p Full HD interior camera. The Sony StarVis 2 IMX678 and IMX675 image sensors for the front and the rear camera. It supports smart voice control, built-in dual band Wi-Fi 2.4 and 5 GHz, built-in GPS logger, also voice notification in multiple languages, supports advanced parking mode and supports micro SD cards up to 512 GB. On the other side of the box, they have provided the QR code for downloading the Veo4 app for both Apple App Store and Google Play Store. So as soon as you open up, you have this Veo4 branding on top of a white box. So let's open this up. So as soon as you open up, you find this thin sheet which gives you details about the dash cam cable wiring. So it indicates which port goes where and which wire plugs in where. So it might be confusing for someone who is doing this for the first time. So they have provided a detailed guide about this. So let's keep this aside for now. So here are the cameras. So first of all, let's take a look at the front camera, the 4K Ultra HD camera with the Sony StarVis 2 sensor. More or less quite resembles the Veo4 Mini 2, I think. So as you can see, here is the comparison. So this is a Veo4 Mini 2 on my right and this is the A229 Pro. Except for the small form factor of the Mini 2, more or less looks pretty much the same. Even on the right, as you can see, there is a reset slot here and there is a slot for the rear camera. A similar design again can be found on the Mini 2. Now at the back, you have this HD screen with all the buttons and the indicators similar to what the Mini 2 has. On the other side, again, you find a micro SD card slot and the interior camera port along with some ventilation holes. Again, very much similar to the Veo4 Mini 2. So in terms of design, it actually resembles the Mini 2 a lot, but it's slightly bigger in size. And here you find the 3M sticker tape, and along with this is the integrated GPS module of the camera. And this camera again, I think it rotates about, so should I say this is about 90 degrees? Yes, it does make a prominent clicking sound when it does so, and it does rotate up and down. So let's keep this camera here and dive down into the box. So here is the rear camera, which again comes with a StarVis 2 IMX675 sensor. You have this V out port on one side, there's nothing else on the other side. And let's see, yes, this rotates 360 degrees, which means you can rotate it to any angle you want, and even you can record the cabin from the rear of the car if that's what you intend to do. Let's keep this here. Now let's take a look at the interior camera. So here is the interior cam, and straight away you can see the difference because you don't find any infrared lights on the rear camera, but on the interior cam, as you can see, there are 4 specific IR lights. So this will help light up the cabin at night. You won't be able to see this light, but the infrared sensors will pick up that light and record the action happening inside the cabin even during complete darkness. So this is the specialty of the interior camera. You have some documentation work. So as you can see, here is a professional customer service card from Veo4. They have given details of their website, their email address, their phone and WhatsApp support number, and a live chat also. At the back, they have provided some info regarding wiring of the camera and regarding product registration. So this is also a very important thing. You can take a look at that. Then you find two electrostatic stickers. You can use them according to your convenience. So let's keep them here. You have this 229 Pro user manual, which again will be very useful for someone who wants to take a deeper look into all the technical specifications, the installation method and everything. So let's keep this here. And finally, you have this read before installation card, which we have seen in many of the Veo 4 cameras. So this provides some important information. Do check it out before installing the camera. So following this, I think this is a data transfer cable which they have provided. You have this USB type A connector at one end and a type C connector. This is a short length wire. So this definitely is, I think, a data connection cable. So let's keep this here. Then you have the 12 volt car charger provided here along with the main power cable for the dash cam. Let's keep it here. And here is a small cable. I think this is probably for the interior dash cam. So let's keep this here. The last wire present in the box, quite a thick wire, and I think this goes for the rear camera. As you can see, here is a type C port for the rear camera and a type C port for the main unit. So I'm running out of space to keep this on my table. So many things inside the box. You also find a CPL filter right within the box. So that's amazing, because in one of my previous videos I have mentioned how important CPL filters are for the dash cams. So they've provided right one in the box. So that's a very cool thing. Following this, you have this wiring crowbar or the installation tool, which will help you take out or uplift the beading of the car in order to complete the wiring process. So where should I keep this? I'm running out of space. So fine, that's here. And as the last item in the box, you have this additional 3M stickers, extra 3M stickers, just in case if you need to change the position of the dash camera or by some way you damage the original sticker. You have one for the front cam, one for the interior cam, and one for the rear cam each. So these stickers will also be useful in the long run if you keep them safely. So let's keep them here right now. Okay, so these are all the things which you get in the box for the A229 Pro dash cam. So coming to the most important aspect, that is the price. The A229 Pro comes in two different variants, and the dual channel variant of this dash cam comes around the price of 35,000 rupees, and the triple channel variant, which I'm showing you in this video, comes at a price of around 40,000 rupees. So the triple channel variant of the A229 Plus comes at a price of about 31,000 rupees. The dual channel variant of the A229 Plus comes at a price of about 26,000 rupees. Taking a look at the resolution and the sensors, the front camera supports a resolution of 4K with the Sony Starvis 2 IMX678 1/1.8" sensor. The rear camera has a resolution of 2K coupled with the Starvis 2 IMX675 1/2.8" sensor. The interior camera supports full HD resolution with the Starvis IMX307 sensor coupled with 4 infrared LED lights and 1 infrared light sensor. There is HDR support for all the 3 dash cameras, that is front, rear and interior. Coming to the resolution combinations this camera provides, the front camera can support a resolution of 2160p at 30 frames per second coupled with a 1440p of the rear camera and a 1080p 30 fps of the interior camera. It also can support 2160p 30 fps for the front, 1080p 30 fps for the rear and a 1080p 30 fps for the interior. It also can come down to a 1440p 30 fps for the front, 1440p 30 fps for the rear and a 1080p resolution for the interior dash cam. It also can come down even less to a full HD resolution, that is 1080p 30 fps for the front camera, 1080p 30 fps for the rear camera and a 1080p 30 fps for the interior camera. Along with that, the front camera has a f1.8 aperture with a field of view of 140 degrees. The rear camera has a f1.9 aperture with a field of view of 160 degrees. So that's coupled together to form 300-degree range around the car. The interior camera has a f1.8 aperture with a field of view of 150 degrees. Coming to the important features, now this dash camera supports voice controls and notifications as well. It has the ultra fast 5 GHz Wi-Fi network for faster data transfer. It also supports one of the most advanced parking modes, which includes auto event detection based on G sensor and motion sensor. It also has time-lapse recording and low bitrate recording. It also supports loop recording and auto emergency lock. It has this ultra precise GPS with a quad mode GPS module, supporting various satellite connections such as GPS, Beidou, Galileo and GLONASS. You get a circular polarizing lens, the CPL filter lens within the box, and you don't need to purchase it separately. You get a 2.4-inch HD screen on the camera for photo and video preview. You also get a Bluetooth remote control for this camera, which is an optional purchase. You can purchase it later if you want it. This camera has a built-in super capacitor, and this also supports memory cards up to 512 GB. Do note that the memory card is not provided within the box and you need to purchase it separately. So starting with the installation process of the dashcam, take a compatible micro SD card. So in this case I have shown you a VIVO 128 GB card. Insert it into the memory card slot until you hear a clicking sound. Following this, remove the 3M sticker covering from the windshield mount of the dash camera. Take out the cover very carefully and very gently so as to not damage the gum tape inside. Following this, remove the sticker covering from the lens of the front dash cam. So most of the times we tend to forget this and the video comes out very blurry. So make sure you have removed the sticker. Also following that, remove the sticker from the back of the camera which is covering the display of the camera. So this is also a very important step. Then find a suitable area, preferably along the center of the windshield, and stick the camera right onto the windshield and press around gently so that the gum tape adheres very well onto the windshield. Alternatively, you can also use a electrostatic sticker as well. Following this, take the interior camera and remove the sticker covering the lens of the camera. You can differentiate the interior camera from the prominent 4 LED lights being seen adjacent to the lens. Also remove the 3M sticker from the mount of the interior cam. Find a suitable place and make sure there is no dust or dirt on the area where you are trying to stick it. Then stick the gum tape onto the windshield and press around the gum tape so that the camera adheres firmly onto the windshield and there is no scope for any movement of the dash cam. Then take the connecting cable for the interior camera. Now this is a short cable with a 3.5 mm jack at one end and a Type-C port at the other. So insert the Type-C port into the dash cam and insert the 3.5 mm jack into the main camera unit. So once that's done, take the rear camera, follow the same steps as the interior, just remove the sticker covering the lens of the camera and following that remove the 3M sticker from the windshield mount of the rear camera. Again, make sure that you are removing the sticker very gently so that you do not peel off the gum tape. Clean up the windshield area from any dust or dirt and apply the rear camera right in between those defogger lines so that whenever you use the defogger lines, they do not interfere with the adhesion of the rear dash cam. Press the rear camera firmly onto the windshield so that it adheres firmly onto the designated surface. Take the rear camera cable, the Type-C port with a straight connector and insert it into the Type-C port of the rear camera. The other end of the cable, which is a L-shaped Type-C connector, well, this goes into the main unit of the camera, so just plug in into main unit and the rear camera connection is done. Following this, access the power outlet of your car and insert the 12-volt adapter which is provided within the box. So insert this adapter into the 12-volt socket of your car, then insert the USB male port into the 12-volt adapter. Take the other end of the power cable and insert the Type-C connector into the Type-C port of the main front dash camera. Following this, turn on the engine of the car so that the dash camera gets power and it turns on as well. So as soon as the camera turns on, you can either look at the screen of the dash cam or you can connect to the smartphone and adjust the angle of the lens of the front dash camera to your proper orientation. Follow the same steps to align the interior and the rear camera as well. So make sure that you do this important step before taking the dash camera out for a drive. So now once all of these steps are completed, now your VIVO A229 Pro or the 229 Plus is ready for use and you can take it out for a drive. You can also make sure while taking out on a drive that you're getting a proper footage and all the orientation and the angles of the camera are perfectly well. So as you can see right now, I have opened up the VIVO app on my smartphone. And if you see, there is a connect your camera button at the bottom. So let's open that up. So let's click on that. So once the Wi-Fi network of the smartphone is enabled, just click on the continue button at the bottom. So here you'll find the image which shows you the indication regarding the Wi-Fi name and the default password. So it's given right here. So let's head on to the system settings and turn on the Wi-Fi. So as soon as you turn on the Wi-Fi, the dash cam Wi-Fi is going to show up here. So as you can see, here is the 5G VO4, and since I've already entered the default password, it is now connected directly. So let's head back. So now there is the VO4 app home screen. If you click on the connect the camera button, it's going to take a few seconds and the dash cam is now connected to the VO4 app. So here on top you can see the rear camera view, on the right you can see the interior camera view, and at the bottom you can see the front camera view. So all three camera views are present right here. So if you want to head on to the settings, first you need to turn off the recording. So here if I just click on the red button, it's going to turn off the recording and you're going to get those beeping sounds from the camera. So now let's head on to the settings. So as soon as you open up the settings, so let me just zoom in a bit more. So here you go. So right now on top you find the video resolution option, and if you click on that, it displays the various different resolutions this camera supports, starting with the 2160p for the front and the 1440p for the rear and the 1080p for the interior dash cam. Well, the interior dash cam has a standard resolution of 1080p among all these options. What varies is only the front and the rear cam. So following that, you also have a 2160 plus 1080p for the rear, 1440p for both front and the rear, or 1080p for both front and the rear. So that's it. Following that, you have the loop recording option. Here you can set the amount of duration you want to record the video for. It starts from 1 minute and it goes all the way up to 10 minutes. So I'll just select it at 1 minute for now. So the third option is the recording audio option. You can enable or disable it here. Then you have the exposure value for the front, interior and the rear camera. All three cameras have their own option to increase or decrease the exposure based on your requirement. Following that, you have the HDR option, wherein you can turn it off completely or turn it on or set it on auto, where the dash cam itself will recognize if the HDR needs to be turned on or turned off. So let me just turn it on right now. Following this, you have the G sensor option in order to record some emergency videos. You have low, medium and high sensitivity, or you can turn it off completely. So I'll just turn it off for now. Following this, you have the date stamp, so which displays the current date on the video. Then you have the bitrate of the video. So if you click on this, you get a low, normal, high and maximum bitrate. If you select the maximum bitrate, the video file size will be larger. If you select a low bitrate, the video file size will be comparatively or relatively lesser. Following this, you have the time lapse recording. So you can turn on the time lapse recording starting from 1 fps and up to 10 fps as well. Then you have the system setting options. In this, you have the Wi-Fi channel. You can select either the 2.4 GHz or the 5 GHz based on the device you are trying to connect to. Then you have the time zone, wherein you have to select the correct time zone based on your geographical location. Then you have the time synchronization, wherein the dash cam time synchronizes with your smartphone. Then you have the date format, as either DD-MM-YY, MM-DD-YY or YY-MM-DD. So you have all these three options. Following this, you have boot delay, which means the dash camera will start about 5 seconds or 10 seconds after the car turns on, or you can turn it off completely to make the dash cam start immediately. Then you have the infrared LED for the interior camera. You have the option to make it turn on automatically based on the camera's own perception, or you can turn it on manually all the time, or you can completely turn off so that you get a normal recording for the interior camera always. So this is again based on your requirement. Then you have the LED status in normal recording. You can make everything turn on or everything off, or power LED only. So this again you can change, and LED status in parking recording you can change that as well. Following that, you have the parking mode. Now this you'll have to install the hardware kit in order to activate the parking mode, but you can still access the settings within the app. So in the parking mode, as I had told you previously, this has got one of the best parking modes available out there. And starting with a time lapse recording of 1 fps, it goes all the way up to 10 fps. So you have the time lapse recording. Then you have the low bitrate recording, which records a normal video with a less storage space. Following that, you have the auto event detection mode, which records videos only when there is some motion or there is abnormal vibration or a hit on the car. Now this is based on both motion sensor and G sensor. So currently I'll just turn it off. Then you have the enter parking mode timer, which means you can set the camera to enter parking mode after about 90 seconds the car turns off, or you can make it to activate immediately. For that, you can select the off option. Then you have the parking G sensor sensitivity, which you can select as low, medium or high.
Then you have the parking motion detection sensitivity. Again, you can set this as low, medium and high. Then you have the option to rotate the interior camera image and rotate the rear camera image, or mirror the interior camera image or mirror the rear camera image. So you can mirror or rotate both the interior or the rear cam based on your requirement, and also depending on how you have installed the camera in your car. Then you have the notification sounds. You can enable or disable it, or you can make only startup sound to come up, or you can make only the button beep to come up, or you can select all of the notification sounds. Then you have the voice notification, which the camera will respond back by giving you certain voice notifications, and you can also activate the voice control or disable it entirely by toggling the switch. Now, what are the voice commands you can use for this specific camera? So if I just click on that, so as you can see, these are the specific voice commands this dash camera supports. So I'll just zoom in to take a look at all of these commands. So if you use these commands, the dash camera is going to support it and respond back based on what you have said. So following this, you have the live video source option, wherein if you click on that, you find the option to enable or disable all of the cameras or show a specific camera on the app screen. So following this, you have the option to enable or disable the GPS. There is a toggle switch right here. Then you have the speed unit option, which you can change to kilometers per hour or miles per hour based on your requirement. Then you have the GPS info stamp, wherein you can select the speed or the coordinates to appear on the video, or you can just select the speed to appear, or you can select the coordinates to appear, or you can turn it off completely. Following this, you have the camera model stamp, wherein the camera model name and number appears on the video. Then you have the logo stamp, again, which shows the company logo on the video. You can enable or disable that. Then you have the screensaver option, wherein the screen will turn off after a maximum of about 3 minutes or a minimum of about 3 seconds. Then you have the frequency option, where you can select either 50 Hz or 60 Hz. Then you have the language option of the dash camera. Then you have the voice notification volume, which you can set low, medium or high. Then you have the option to format the SD card. Then you have the Wi-Fi name, SSID, you can change the Wi-Fi password. Following this, you have the custom text stamp, where you can write any custom text to appear on the camera. Now I have written the name of my car. Then you have the car license number option, where you can make the license number of your car appear on the video. Then you have the option wherein it shows the free space available on the card. Then you have the reset camera settings to a factory settings. And lastly, there is the app version and the firmware version being displayed in the app. So as you can see, the dash camera shows 3 different views in the app. You can also switch the view by clicking on the switch camera button. So now this is the front camera. If you click on the button again, so this is the interior camera, and if you click on the button again, it shows the rear camera display. And if you click back on the button, all 3 live views combined. So this is the app, and here is the album section at the bottom. So if you click on the album section, it goes into the album. Now currently, since the camera is recording, it is not going there. So if I just click on the red button, the camera will stop recording. And if you click on the album button, it goes into the album, and here you have various different options such as locked, that is emergency videos, you have the parking videos, you have images taken, and you also have the subdivision of the front, interior and the rear camera. So you can watch any of the videos based on the camera and based on the kind of mode the video has been recorded in. You can also select any of the videos and download based on your requirement. So that's a very cool thing, and since this supports 5 GHz, this will download the videos very much faster and you won't have to wait for a long time. So taking a look at the video samples from all 3 cameras, on top you find the front camera, in the middle you see the interior camera, and at the bottom you see the rear camera footage. So this is a daytime sample, and in regards to all the technical specifications such as the resolution, the frame rate, the bit rate and the file size, including the specific sensor used, I have given all the details on the right corner of the video screen. So as you're seeing right now, the front camera does provide a very balanced and a close to perfect video footage. The interior camera gives you a slightly sharper and a bit oversaturated image. At the bottom, that is the rear camera, you get a much more smoother image compared to the interior camera. But in terms of the comparison between front and the rear, definitely the front camera stands out. Now the overall footage from all 3 cameras is really excellent by far based on what I've seen, and this is something which is very much expected from this
high priced dash camera. Coming to the night footage, night comparison between all these three cameras, straight away you can point out that the interior camera is black and white, and that's because this is a infrared video footage. The interior camera has 4 infrared LEDs and an infrared light sensor. So at night, if you select the infrared image, you're going to get a black and white footage, and this is actually practical and useful because if you try to record a normal footage for the interior camera, the cabin will turn out to be very dark and you won't be able to see anything. Coming to the footage from the front and the rear, again a very balanced and a very good looking footage from the front camera. The rear camera too does perform very well, but in comparison it does fall down a bit compared to the front, but that's not a big complaint because the rear camera overall comparatively is very much better to most of the other rear dash camera footages which I have seen till date. So I wanted to show you this very fine footage, a HDR footage from the rear camera which I just caught while I was going out on a drive. Take a look at the color of the sky, the blending of the colors, and how well this rear camera captures this on the screen. I mean, this is a very good rear camera video quality, and I'm definitely very impressed with what this rear camera has to offer in terms of video clarity and in terms of the color range this camera can produce. Taking a look at the license plate readability, now since this has a StarVis 2 sensor, and if I zoom in at a vehicle of about 10 to 15 feet away behind me, so this is a good image of a license plate, slightly blurred out because of the magnification, and since this is just a 2K camera and you can clearly see that you can make out the numbers and the letters, it's not like it's completely illegible. Even though the headlights of the rear vehicle are hitting directly the camera, the sensor of the camera, the sensor is still able to focus on the license plate and you can somewhat make out the number plate even though it is slightly blurred out due to the image magnification. Now another aspect which I needed to show you of the rear camera is that if I zoom in on a license plate at the far end of the image, now as you can see this is a completely blurred out image, you can't see anything. So this is what happens usually around the edges of the video, and especially if the motion of the vehicle is very fast. All the vehicles at the center of the screen will get captured very well, and if you're trying to capture something at the far edge of the video footage, it will be slightly difficult for the camera to do that. Now taking a look at another sample from the night time. Now as you can see there is a Hyundai i20 right behind me, and its headlights, its fog lamps, and also the vehicles from behind the car, all the glare of these headlights is hitting directly the lens of the camera, but still about a distance of 15 feet the camera is able to capture the number plate. You are able to clearly make out each letter and number, and that's what's expected from this rear camera since it's having a 2K sensor. So coming to the daytime footage, now this actually looks like a footage which has been shot from the front camera. Looking at the color saturation, the contrast levels, the brightness levels, this is actually a rear camera footage during daytime. And let's zoom in on a vehicle at a very close range and see how good the license plate read is. Now this is again a very clear read, although I must say it is slightly overexposed due to the very bright sunlight when I shot this, but again this is a very good read of the license plate. And if I try to zoom in on the number plate when the vehicle moves about a distance of 20 plus feet, let's take a look, and here is a very good read of the license plate. Again the camera is performing very well even at a far range. Now I must agree this is not very clear, it's slightly blurred out due to the video magnification, the pixel magnification. Since this is a 2K camera, the StarVis 2 sensor at daytime is doing its job very well, and this is something very good from this rear camera. The overall footage also does look very bright and punchy. Now coming to the footage from the interior camera at night. So as I just showed you previously, the interior camera shoots in infrared. You can also make it to shoot a normal video footage as well, but it will completely darken out the cabin since there are no light sources inside the cabin, and all the people inside may turn out to be very dull. Shooting in infrared will give you a very bright footage. You can see all the things inside the car and surrounding the car, especially the outside. And as you can see, the interior camera covers most of the windows, especially the driver's side window. So any action or any incident happening towards the driver's side window, towards the passenger side, even the rear driver side, rear passenger side windows, all the action will be captured in the interior camera, and that's a very, very good thing. Coming to the daytime footage from the interior camera, as I told you previously, this is slightly oversaturated and a bit more sharper compared to the front and the rear camera footage. Now of course the field of view of this camera again enables it to cover almost all of the window areas of the car, so you can see even outside the car, and obviously you're getting the footage from the inside of the car as well, considering it has a older StarVis sensor and it also comes at a 1080p resolution. I think this interior camera video footage is more than enough for any sort of a usage you might have. Now coming to the daytime footage from the front dash camera, which is a 4K resolution camera coupled with a StarVis 2 sensor, you can definitely see this is one of the finest and clearest video footages you might have seen among all the dash cameras. Taking a look at the license plate now, there are two vehicles in front of me. The nearest one is about 10 to 15 feet away and the farthest one is about 20 to 25 feet away. At the closest range, this is a very good read of a license plate, slightly blurred out, a very mild amount of noise, nothing to be worried about, a very good read of the license plate indeed. If we take a look at the vehicle at the far range, about 20 plus feet, now again I would be lying if I say I'm not able to make out the number plates. Now this is again a very good read at a distance of 20 plus feet, and this is what's expected because a 4K camera is capable of capturing license plates at a distance of 20 to even 30 feet maximum. Now let's take a look at the license plate readability at a very close range. Now if I just zoom in on the Tata Nexon right in front of me, this is one of the brightest and clearest video sample of the license plates. You can even make out the IND numbering, you can make out the triangular pattern of the Nexon right next to the license plates. I mean, every aspect of this license plate read is very clear, and at the closest range this camera really excels in terms of giving you the best performance and best license plate reads. The overall footage again very punchy in terms of colors, contrast and saturation. Taking a look at the night footage, now this is where the action is because the StarVis 2 really excels in night, and let's see what this 4K capable StarVis 2 camera can really bring to the table for you. Now take a look at the vehicle right in front with those high bright headlamps. Now let's pause the video and zoom in at the vehicle, which is about a distance of 25 to 30 feet away. Let's zoom in on the license plate. Now here, as you can see, in spite of having such a high glare from the headlights right next to the license plate, you can just about make the number plate, and the number plate is distinctively different and distinctively placed in the video. Although I must agree that it's not very clear, but also the point to note is that it has absolutely no noise. The blurriness actually comes from the zoomed in factor, but in terms of the image clarity, there is very less to nil noise, and if you just take a deep look, you can make out the entire plate in spite of having such high glare. So this is what I expected from this camera, and it's performing right up to those expectations. Taking a look at another video sample during the night and showing you the magic of the StarVis 2 sensors. Now as you can see, I have a two-wheeler very close to me and right under the glare of my headlights, and if I just zoom in on the license plate, in spite of the glare, the number plate read is very clear. All letters and numbers are clearly visible. Taking a look at the vehicle, which is more than about 30 feet away, now that's a very far range and even under some glare of my headlight. Now it's blurred out, I definitely agree with that, but can you say that you cannot make out this number plate? You can't, because you really can make out this number plate even at a distance of 30 plus feet. Now have you seen anything better? Have you seen any dash camera do this? You definitely haven't. So this is where the 4K resolution StarVis 2 VO4A229 Pro really shines. The front camera is simply magic, and it's going to give you the best video quality, the best license plate readability available in the market as of today. So that was a most comprehensive and most detailed video quality review I have done for a dash cam in a long time, and trust me, this took a lot of effort and planning to bring in front of you. So if you do recognize that effort, if you do recognize the hard work which went in making this video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button of Travel Tech right now and smash that like button to show your support for my work. Also hit that bell icon so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. Also tell me your opinion about how helpful this video has been to you, and has this given you the information which you were looking for. Also, if you have any doubts or queries regarding this, you can write that down and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.
If you are interested in purchasing this dash camera, the Pro or the Plus variant, you can check out the description. You will find all the relevant links right there. Many more interesting and amazing videos are coming up in the future, so stay tuned to Travel Tech and do not miss any of those. That's it. This was the video for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.